let's talk about your relationship with Mr. Epstein after you left the White House.
Okay.
How would you characterize your relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Mr.
Well,
President, we have a question for you.
During the time it was cordial.
At any time, would you characterize Mr. Epstein as a friend?
We were friendly, but I didn't know him well enough to say we were friends.
How often did you communicate with Mr. Epstein?
Usually only on the trips. I did go to his house once, as you know.
Mr. President, we're going to discuss more specifics later, but for the record, can you briefly describe the nature and extent of your relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Well, sometime after I left the White House, either in late 2001 or early-ish in 2002, I received a call from Larry Summers, who had been on my economic team and was later Secretary of Treasury and was then president of Harvard. And he said that he was calling because a man named Jeffrey Epstein, who had made a substantial commitment of several $1 million, I think it was 10, but whatever it was, I don't, to brain research, and that he was a information hungry person, and he wanted to spend some time talking to me about economics and politics. And he said he's got this massive airplane, and he said he would take you, your staff, your Secret Service detail, and anybody else you wanted to bring on the trips that he knew I was planning to set up a global network to provide life-saving AIDS medicine to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. But this thing was really hard for me when it came out because we had been friendly with Glenn. I was sad, but it was terrible what she did, and she has to be punished. Somebody besides me should make a decision on what it is. So she got 20 years, and there it is.
Okay. When did you first learn of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes?
I think in 2008 when he was prosecuted. There's nothing that I saw when I was around him that made me realize he was trafficking women.
And you mentioned these communications were related to the work of your foundation. Did you ever have any other communications with Larry Summers related to Mr. Epstein?
No.
So for the record, you never discussed anything related to Mr. Epstein and young women or girls?
Absolutely not.
Mr. President, did you ever have any communications with Prince Andrew related to Mr. Epstein or Miss Maxwell?
The direct answer to your question is no, but I don't want to mislead you. I know that because of my friendship with Evelyn and Lynn Rothschild, and because the former prince was around them, and they knew Ghislaine Maxwell from Britain, and through her father, her late father. There may have been some conversation there. I don't remember it, okay, but I don't want to mislead you. I knew something that...
You mentioned these communications were related to the work of your foundation. Did you ever have any other communications with Larry Summers related to Mr. Epstein?
No.
So for the record, you never discussed anything related to Mr. Epstein and young women or girls?
Absolutely not.
Mr. President, for the record, have you ever been contacted by any law enforcement agency concerning Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell?
As far as I know, no. That is, as far as I remember. Back in 2008, I sort of thought somebody might ask me something. Because I was glad this had come out since it had happened. But I don't believe anybody ever did.
You mentioned that you thought someone would want to ask you something. Can you elaborate on what that means?
Just because he let me use this airplane.
Did you ever witness Mr. Epstein sexually abuse or assault young women or girls?
No,
Did you ever witness Mr. Epstein receive massages from young women or girls?
not that I recall.
Did Mr. Epstein ever discuss sexual acts of any kind with you?
No,
Did you ever have any sexual contact with young women or girls in the presence of Epstein or Maxwell?
no,
Did you ever have sexual contact with any young woman or girl introduced to you by Epstein or Maxwell?
no,
Mr. President, with the benefit of hindsight, were there things you witnessed that could have suggested that Epstein was trafficking and sexually abusing young women and girls?
I do not believe so.